This is fun. Okay, there we go. I hope everyone can hear me if there's anyone even on. It's so early in the morning. And this was an impromptu live. Okay, that makes sense. Here we go. Everybody here? Okay, I'm going to go back to Zoom here. Let's see. Let's start this one more time. Okay. I think I'm live. We'll start the recording again. Okay. So I'm going to go find the giver here. And we are on chapter 2. So we last left Jonas as he was sharing his feelings at the ceremony of feelings, or at the feelings time of dinner. So Jonas watched as his father poured a fresh cup of coffee. He waited. You know, his father finally said, every December was exciting to me. Well, this was just an impromptu thing. At 4 in the morning, 4:30 actually. Okay. Every December was exciting to me when I was young, and it has been for you and Lily too, I'm sure. Each December brings such changes. Jonas nodded. He could remember the Decembers back to when he had become, well, probably a 4. The earlier ones were lost to him, but he observed them each year, and he remembered Lily's earliest Decembers. He remembered when his family received Lily the day she was named, the day that she had become a 1. The ceremony for the 1s was always noisy and fun. Each December, all the new children born in the previous year turned 1. One at a time, There were always 50 in each year's group if none had been released. They had been brought to the stage by the nurturers who had cared for them since birth. Some were already walking, wobbly on their unsteady legs. Others were no more than a few days old, wrapped in blankets, held by their nurturers. I enjoy the naming, Jonas said. His mother agreed, smiling. The year we got Lily, we knew, of course, that we'd receive our female because we'd made our application and had been approved. But I'd been wondering and wondering what her name would be. I could have sneaked a look at the list prior to the ceremony, Father confided. The committee always makes the list in advance, and it's right there in the office at the nursery center. As a matter of fact, he went on, I felt a little guilty about this, but I did go in this afternoon and look to see if this year's naming list had been made yet. It was right there in the office, and I looked up number 36. That's the little guy I've been concerned about because it occurred to me that it might enhance his nurturing if I could call him by a name, just privately, of course, when no one else is around. Did you find it? Jonas asked. He was fascinated. It didn't seem a terribly important rule, but the fact that Father had broken a rule at all awed him. He glanced at his mother, the one responsible for adherence to the rules, and was relieved that she was smiling. His father nodded. His name, if he makes it to the naming, without being released, of course, is to be Gabriel. So I whisper that name to him when I feed him every 4 hours and during exercise and playtime. If no one can hear me. I call him Gabe, actually, he said and grinned. Gabe, Jonas tried it out. A good name, he decided. Though Jonas had only become a 5 the year they had acquired Lily and learned her name, he remembered the excitement, the conversations at home, wondering about her, how she would look, who she would be, how she would fit into their established family unit. He remembered climbing the steps to the stage with his parents, his father by his side, that year instead of with the nurturers, since it was the year that he would be given a new child of his own. He remembered his mother taking the new child, his sister, into her arms while the document was read to the assembled family units. New child 23, the namer had read. Lily. He remembered his father's look of delight and that his father had whispered, she's one of my favorites. I was hoping for her to be the one. The crowd had clapped, and Jonas had grinned. He liked his sister's name. Lily, barely awake, had waved her small fist. Then they had stepped down to make room for the next family unit. When I was in 11, his father said now, as you are, Jonas, I was very impatient, waiting for the ceremony of 12. It's a long 2 days. I remembered that I enjoyed the ones, as I always do, but that I didn't pay much attention to the other ceremonies except for my sister's. She became a 9 that year and got her bicycle. I'd been teaching her to ride mine, even though technically I wasn't supposed to. Jonas laughed. It was one of the few rules that was not taken very seriously and was almost always broken. The children all received their bicycles at 9. They were not allowed to ride bicycles before then, but almost always the older brothers and sisters had secretly taught the younger ones. Jonas had been thinking already about teaching Lily. And that's it for tonight. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May he make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and grant you his peace.